check my settings first. Yeah, so tonight we are doing this series called Nimittas from the Suttas, because someone actually asked a question from the previous class and asked about these Nimittas. What is Nimittas? So then we have to do my research now. So Nimittas from the Suttas. So it's a very interesting topic because many, I would say, modern meditation styles would tend to use the term Nimittas, and it comes from post-canonical sources, post-canonical manuals, meditation manuals. So they use the term Nimittas. You need to use Nimittas to so-called develop concentration. Right, so let's look at the first slide. Terence, yep. Okay, so the Nimittas normally is used for kasina practice, based on the post-canonical manual, maybe like the Visuddhimagga, for example. So they have a few phases, 3 phases. So the first level, we call it the preparatory sign, this parikamma nimitta. So you need to prepare something to help you to visualize. So if you look at the background photo, background picture, you can see a group of people using candles or light bulbs in front to help them to visualize this light. So that's the preparatory phase. Then the second one is ugaha nimitta, a quiet sign. That means you can close your eyes and the image is there. So that's the second phase. But then it won't last long. So that's the second phase. Then the third phase will be this patibhaga nimitta, which will be the more stable phase, counterpart side. It can last kind of long, and for most of those practitioners, they claim that you need to have a clear sign. You need to visualize clearly, or the image has to be clear, and it has to last long, or you can have certain control over its duration. So that's the practice for those practitioners, kasina practitioners. So in our routine, we don't really do that. So let's look at the Suttas version of Nimitta. What does Suttas say about Nimittas? Okay, so in the Suttas, they don't mention using Nimittas to practice. They don't really mention Nimittas to practice. In fact, the term Nimittas can be used in different situations and has different context. And somehow most of the context doesn't seem to be shining Nimittas in a very good light, or they kind of portray Nimittas in a negative way. So the first context would be sense door sign. So if you see something, so that's a nimitta. You hear something, that's a nimitta. You smell something, that's a nimitta. So that's the first definition of nimittas based on this context, and this Seka Patipada Sutta. Yeah, so that's the first one. So the mind seizes on it, so it's subject to clinging, and it's not like a good thing. Okay, then the second one, if you can use it on a meditation theme, a sign, to replace an unwholesome one. So this is probably the positive one in the second definition. So we'll cover this sutta also, Vitta Kasantana Sutta. So using positive sign to replace a negative one. So that's the second sutta we'll be covering. So it's a long series. We'll be covering a few suttas. And the third one is affective sign. And this one also will portray nimitta in a negative way. So this subha nimitta, you all know the term asubha, right? Asubha means recollection of the foulness. So subha is the opposite. Subha means beauty. So any image or any sign that appears beautiful can condition one to be lustful. So this is the subha nimitta. Then the opposite will be this patigha nimitta, which is any sign that is irritable, will condition one to be angry. So that's the how they use it in this sutta, Ahara Sutta. And the last sutta we'll be covering is this signless nimitta, signless. We call this animitta. So that is very close to enlightenment really. So if a person practice certain meditation and they reach cessation, that means they go beyond the 8th jhana, then they'll reach this signless, no nimittas, signless. And this sutta is very interesting because after today's lesson we have kind of a long break, and the next lesson will be on the 20th July, which is next month, end of next month, so we have still a long way to go. So I think for this lesson I kind of do a bit of contrast and comparison. So in this sutta, the last one, the number 4, is Chula Shunyata Sutta, the smaller discourse on emptiness, talks about using visualization to enter concentration. So it's very close to talking about kasina meditation, but somehow in this sutta they don't mention using nimittas, or rather the sutta don't use the framework of nimittas to enter concentration. So what they use is they will mention visualizing the earth kasina in terms of visualizing the entire forest. So that is the sutta's version, visualizing the entire forest. So it's a large area, surrounding, boundless area, entire environment. So this is the sutta's version. Whereas in the previous slide, which is the post-canonical version, the preparatory sign will ask you to take a small image or some image that's convenient to carry around, and you use that as object of visualization, which is very different. And also in the suttas, which is Chula Shunyata Sutta, the image you visualize, like the forest, doesn't have to be high definition quality. Like when you visualize the forest, you don't have to imagine the cracks on the ground, what the potholes on the ground. You don't have to visualize in detail. It can be blurry, it doesn't matter. The blurrer the better somehow. Yeah, because you don't want to be engrossed in this Subha Nimitta and Patigama Nimitta. The image look ugly or beautiful, then you tend to create these thoughts of unwholesome thoughts. Yeah? So they want to keep the mind wholesome. So it doesn't have to be high definition. Whereas in the post-canonical version, which is like for example the Visuddhimagga, the image has to be clear. Or the practitioners of those methods will say the image has to be clear. Yeah? So the sutta we mentioned don't have to be clear. So that's one of the main differences. And also the practice of this Chula Shunyata Sutta, the visualization of this earth element, will lead one directly to the formless concentration. So it doesn't lead one to the first to the fourth jhana, doesn't. It straightway jump to this perception of infinite space. Jump to perception of infinite space. Whereas in the post-canonical version, the people want to visualize, and they aim to enter first jhana, then they might do it for very long, then maybe they cannot do it because the sutta version say cannot. Yeah? So that's one of the main differences also. Yep. So that's the kind of my own personal comparison. Any questions so far before I move on to the suttas? Okay, no question. Then I move on to the first sutta, which is this Seka Patibana Sutta, the practice for one in training. So this is like to let us know in general all the contact, all the sense impressions are actually nimittas, all the signs. So the person who suggested this topic is not here today. So anyway, I'll just carry on. They can watch it on the live feed on Facebook. Okay, I have heard that on one occasion the Blessed One was staying among the Sakyans at Kapilavatthu in the Banyan Park. Now at that time a new reception hall had just been built by the Kapilavatthu Sakyans. and it had not yet been dwelt in by any contemplative Brahman or anyone at all in human form. So the Kapilavatthu Sakyans went to the Blessed One, and on arrival, having bowed down to him, sat to one side. So this is the introduction, talks about this hall being empty, and then they approached the Buddha. Okay, next. As they were sitting there, they said to him, Lord, a new reception hall has just been built by the Kapilavatthu Sakyans, and it has not yet been dwelt in by any contemplative Brahman or anyone at all in human form. So if humans never dwelled, maybe other non-humans might have dwelt there. Okay, may the Blessed One be the first to use it. When the Blessed One has used it first, the Kapilavatthu Sakyans will use it afterwards. That will be for their long-term welfare and happiness. So it's probably an ancient practice to let the holy person use a new building first, to kind of like in a way indirectly bless the place. So sometimes this culture also has been used in a modern context. Maybe some people buy a new house, then they invite monks to do blessing, come over the house to do blessing. So something like that, along this line. Okay, next. The Blessed One acquiesced with silence. That means he agreed. Sensing his acquiescence, the Kapilavatthu Sakyans got up from their seats, bowed down to him, circumambulated him, and then went to the new reception hall. On arrival, they spread it all over with felt rugs, arranged seats, set out a water vessel, and raised an oil lamp. So all these are the preparation to welcome the Buddha. Okay, next. Then they went to the Blessed One, and on arrival, having bowed down to him, stood to one side. As they were standing there, they said to him, Lord, the reception hall has been covered all over with felt rugs, seats have been arranged, a water vessel has been set out, and an oil lamp raised. It is now time for the Blessed One to do as he sees fit. So inviting the Buddha over. Okay, next. So the Blessed One, after adjusting his lower robe and taking his bowl and outer robe, went together with Sangha of monks to the reception hall. On arrival, he washed his feet, entered the hall, and sat with his back to the central post, facing east. The Sangha of monks washed their feet, entered the hall, and sat with their backs to the western wall, facing east, arranged around the Blessed One. Okay, so they mention the part of their practices, their daily routine. It's not like the Buddha fly over there and stuff like that. So the Buddha walked normally to that place, and then he has to wash his feet. So if a monk were to take their alms bowl, so probably they went for the alms round. So normally if they go for alms round, they have to go barefooted. So if their foot is barefooted, they step over the soil, the mud and everything, so the feet will be very dirty, right? So you don't want the dirty feet to enter a new building, right? So you need to wash the feet first outside before entering the new hall. So that's what they did. Okay, so why they want to face east and the back face west, I don't know. So probably it's a culture thing. Okay, next. The Kapilavatthu Sakyans washed their feet, entered the hall, and sat with their backs to the eastern wall facing west, ranged around the Blessed One. So the Buddha is at the west, the other monks at the east. Then the Blessed One, having spent most of the night instructing, urging, rousing, and encouraging the Kapilavatthu Sakyans with the Dhamma talk, said to Venerable Ananda, Ananda, speak to the Kapilavatthu Sakyans about the person who follows the practice for one in training. My back aches. I will rest it. So the Buddha is also having bodily pains. So probably he's maybe aging, so he has back pain, so he cannot continue the Dhamma talk, then he wants to take a break. Then he asks Venerable Ananda to take over. Because Venerable Ananda is like the Buddha's tape recorder. Whatever the Buddha taught, Venerable Ananda can remember everything. So these are the, I would say, probably the common teachings the Buddha has been teaching all the while. So he has confidence that the Venerable Ananda can repeat exactly what he teaches. So the practice for the one in training. So the next session onwards would be Venerable Ananda teaching. Next. Venerable Ananda responded, "As you say, Lord." Then the Blessed One, having arranged his outer robe, folded in four, laid down on his right side in the lion sleeping posture, with one foot on top of the other, mindful and alert, having made a mental note to get up. So the Buddha rests in this manner, this lion's pose, lion's posture. So when we practice mindfulness, we are not trying to be like Buddha statue. We're not trying to resist pain or be immune to pain. No, pain is still pain. So it's totally up to your choice. How's your body's condition. How are you going to take care of your body? Do you really need to shift your position after sitting, or do you need to change posture? So this is up to your, I would say, street smartness, or street wise, this kind of personal wisdom. You need to moderate and take care of yourself. Okay, next. Then Venerable Ananda addressed Mahanama, the Sakyan. There is the case, Mahanama, where a disciple of the Noble Ones is consummate in virtue, guards the doors to his sense faculties, knows moderation in eating, is devoted to wakefulness, is endowed with 7 qualities, and obtains at will, without trouble or difficulty, the 4 jhanas that constitute heightened awareness and a pleasant abiding in the here and now. Okay, so even though it's built by Kapilavatthu Sakyan, somehow the audience is like one person, Mahanama the Sakyan, so it's just one audience. So probably the Buddha kind of spoke to a large audience earlier on, and when most of the crowd left, just one person remaining, then the Buddha is like, okay, let Venerable Ananda take over. So this Mahanama has been mentioned also quite a number of times in the Suttas. So eventually he also became a stream enterer. Okay, next. And how is the disciple of the Noble Ones consummate in virtue? There is the case where the disciple of the Noble Ones is virtuous. He dwells restrained in accordance with the Patimokkha. Okay, so the first one talks about morality, virtue and morality, and in this case, the disciple of Noble Ones referring to the monastics, because they mention the term Patimokkha. So Patimokkha are the rules for monastics. So for the monks will be like 200 over rules, and the nuns will be 300 over. Consummate in his behavior and sphere of activity, he trains himself, having undertaken the training rules, seeing danger in the slightest faults. This is how the disciple of the Noble Ones is consummate in virtue. So for a layperson, you just need to observe the 5 or 8 precepts, much lesser. So some people might think, layperson, so few precepts, then how to compare, right? So actually in the most of the monastic rules, the essential ones all stem up from the 5 precepts. Stem up from the 5 precepts, not just from the no killing. Already we have several rules for no killing. Killing human will be one rule, killing non-humans another rule, and so on and so forth. Human. So many rules regarding this just for one non-killing. So if a person would observe the 5 precepts well, they essentially can be kind of qualified. Can be qualified to anytime when you're ready, you can like lead a monastic life. Or in the mind, is one is like living in these monastic virtues. So in accordance to the Noble Eightfold Path also, we have the right speech, right action, livelihood, and right livelihood. So that would be the essential criteria for the path. Okay, next. And how does the disciple of the Noble Ones guard the doors to his sense faculties? Sorry, I'll go to the previous slide. Haven't read finish. Okay. Consummate in his behavior and sphere of activity, he trains himself, having undertaken the training rules, seeing danger in the slightest faults. Okay, so if a person wants to practice precept in terms of meditation, then you need to be aware of this. Seeing danger in the slightest faults. Anytime you want to tell a lie, or want to gossip, want to idle chatter, or want to almost want to break any of the precepts, then you kind of practice mindfulness, right mindfulness. So the right effort is there. You want to overcome any bit of unwholesomeness. So taking the training rule itself, you have to take in context together with the right effort and right mindfulness. So all these are together. You cannot say precept is precept, meditation is meditation. No. So all these are all intertwined. Okay, next. And how does the disciple of the Noble Ones guard the doors to his sense faculties? There's the case where the disciple of the Noble Ones, on seeing a form with the eye, doesn't grasp at any theme of variations by which, if he were to dwell without restraint over the faculty of the eye, evil, unskillful qualities such as greed or distress might assail him. Okay, so this is where the Nimittas come in. So this is the sense impression nimitta. Sense impression nimitta. So a person doesn't have right thought or right effort over whatever contact you have, then they'll mention evil, unskillful qualities such as greed or distress might assail him. So sometimes the term evil might be too strong. Some people, they see something or they hear something, then they start to daydream, start to fantasize. To them, not evil one. I never harm anybody. But it's considered unwholesome, unskillful. Because as long as it promotes greed and anger, then it just increases your greed and anger, that's all. Okay, he practices with restraint. He guards the faculty of the eye. He achieves restraint with regard to the faculty of the eye. So the key word here is achieving restraint. Guards the faculty of the eye and achieving restraint. So how to guard the eye? Close the eyes, don't see. So not like that. So of course there are certain things we try to refrain. Let's say for the 8 precepts and onwards, like refrain from entertainment. So this one is to avoid totally. And certain things we need to see, like daily chores and all this, we need to see with the eye, right? So how to guard the eye without closing the eyes? Anybody? Okay, so if you want to maintain your daily life activities, you need to add the right contemplation, right thought. So whatever you see, you need to label a certain reflection. So that's why in, for example, our meditation routine, we add or we practice loving kindness. So whatever we have sense contact with anything, any of the elements, we wish, like for example, all beings well and happy. So there's one kind of reflection to guard the senses. So it's important. Or you can use impermanence, rising and passing. So whatever you see, whatever you hear, smell, think, taste and touch, you can think of rising and passing. So there are many reflections, so any of the reflections that can guide your faculty, can prevent greed or distress from taking over you, then that would be a good reflection. Okay, so it achieves restraint with regard to the faculty of the eye, and the same for on hearing a sound with the ear. So when you hear something, also the same thing. It's not about to close the ear and put on the earphone and go and meditate somewhere, lock your room. You can, in daily life there will be sound, there's air currents, there's sound, so you need to deal with sound. So how to not get irritated by sound. How to not get irritated by sound, again, right reflection, either loving kindness or impermanence or any of the meditation theme that you're familiar with. Then same with smell, and same with taste, and same with feeling on the body. So I talk about all the senses. Okay, any questions so far with regard to this slide? No, then I move on. On cognizing an idea with the intellect. So there's the mind door. So the same thing. He doesn't grasp at any theme or variations by which, if he were to dwell without restraint over the faculty of the intellect, evil, unskillful qualities such as greed or distress might assail him. He practices with restraint. He guards the faculty of the intellect. He achieves restraint with regard to the faculty of the intellect. This is how the disciple of the noble ones guard the doors to his sense faculty. So this one talks about the mind door faculty, which is the visualization, the things that appear in the mind. So it's not like we see with our eyes. So this is very close to the kasina meditation. Any kind of visualization meditation would be having this nimitta. So if a person doesn't have right reflection, then naturally, they are mentioned here, evil, unskillful qualities such as greed or distress might assail him. So a person can visualize object. If the more they visualize, the more stressed they become, the more tension, or the more anger, more greed. That means something is wrong in the practice, wrong reflection. So it's the same with any meditation object. If you do it correctly, you should be more peaceful. You should overcome or reduce greed and anger. So the more you meditate, the more greedy you are, the more angry you get, the more stressful you get, and something is wrong in the practice. Okay, so today I end here, 9 o'clock. Open the floor to questions before overloading the brain. Yes, happy you're here. So did you catch what I've mentioned earlier? You can watch the live stream for the beginning introduction.
Okay.
Okay, so the rest, yes, Joshua, I have a question.
Yeah, but just to check with Bante, because this kasina meditation, right? In the Thai forest tradition, right, I rarely hear they mention regarding the kasina. So in the Thai forest tradition, this kasina meditation already died out already, or only adopted by the Burmese tradition?
I would say it kind of depends on the individual. Like for example, Longpo Man, according to his biography of Longpo Man, he meditated on Buddha, then he managed to also see bright light. So that might constitute also the white kasina.
But that one, like the Burmese one, they all draw the circle one, and then they meditate on the earth, and then they meditate on the fire candle, and then they meditate.
Yeah, that would be using the Visuddhimagga version.
I mean, for Thai tradition, rarely, right? You all will use this kind of method, right?
Yeah, rarely.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, understand.
So like mentioned earlier, there's a big difference between this Visuddhimagga version and the Suttas version. Okay, yes, Macy, you have a question.
Yeah, I have a few questions. So, just now you're saying when Ajahn Chah meditate on the Buddha, so that is not like
Ajahn Man.
Ajahn Man, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah. So that is not the same as visualizing like Bodhisattva in the Tibetan tradition.
Yeah, it would be different, yes.
Okay, so there's no visualization, there's just the
sign just appear.
sign just appear.
Mm.
Oh, like the light just appear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then you just stay with the light until it disappears, right?
For him, yeah, maybe for him. Yeah.
Okay. So the Tibetan tradition, like visualizing a deity, is that some form of a nimitta or recollection of a deva?
I would call it probably like a mixture. Like sometimes my routine also has a mixture. So for them, maybe a recollection of the deva or the bodhisattva or whoever that divinity is. So is to recollect their positive virtues. And visualization itself is a bit like a kasina also, yeah.
Yeah, because I understand they visualize it until it becomes alive or something like that.
Hmm.
But for me, I think I'm better at, like you said, recollecting the virtue and the qualities.
Hmm.
So yeah, that one wouldn't be a nimitta, right? Just recollecting the qualities.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Happy.
Ajahn, I'd like to ask about the nimitta, like because you have to close 5 doors of the faculty, including the ear. But like how to close the ear? Like what the methods to close the ear faculty?
Okay. Yeah, so
That
to guide your sense door, because we still need to use our senses in everyday living. So to prevent more greed from or more anger from coming in, we need to realign our thinking. That means whatever we have contact with, we need to have right reflection.
right reflection.
Yeah, right thoughts.
But this is for like when we want to go into meditation, right, Ajahn? But in
Not
the
just in meditation, even outside formal meditation.
outside the formal meditation. So what to do, like for example, like I saw people when they're walking and then they use the earplug and they are absorbing too much into the the sound. So they close all the faculty, only the ear sound is open. So is it similar?
So depends on what are they reflecting, huh?
Or what they
Yeah.
like for example, if they open the music but it's like kind of like chanting and then they just absorbing into that sound and then that means they close all the 5 others faculty.
Also depends on how they reflect on the chant. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn.
I know of people who are so engrossed in the melody, the nice music of the chant, that they don't withdraw from the sense sphere, or that they still don't renounce from sense pleasure.
So it can be like become attached, Ajahn. You mean that?
In a way, yes. That means they don't listen to the chant for spiritual reasons, more for musical reasons.
And what about the people that have a psychic, like clear audience? They use that to listen to maybe the angels talking or something like that?
Yeah, so if those people have those abilities, then it's depends on them how they manage it. Yeah.
How they manage it as well. Okay, Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay, no problem. Any other questions?
Ajahn.
Yep.
I want to follow up one question because regarding guarding the senses, right? Because in one, I'm not sure whether it's from the sutta or from the commentaries or what. Because I remember that the time got one arahant, I think he told one young novice that when you want to catch an animal, right, you need to close other 5 holes, right, and then only keep 1 hole open, right. So in other words, during meditation, right, you need to close the senses as much as possible, right.
Be quite withdrawn from the senses. So the lesser distraction, the better for concentration. That is if you want to develop concentration.
I see. So we need to close the senses as much as possible during meditation, right?
Yes.
I see. Okay. Okay, understand.
Yeah, so that's why in our metta routine, we try not to visualize too much. Once you start to imagine these people or that animal, then you have a lot of story already.
So in other words, we need to go to a quiet place. We need to close the eyes. All those kind of things, right?
Yeah,
reduce-
physical venue, ideally it's quiet environment.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? But that doesn't mean if you cannot find a quiet environment means cannot practice anymore. So actually every moment still can. It's your choice, up to you to generate right thought. Any other
Bante,
question?
just now you mentioned the kasina on space. Is that
Yep.
one kind of nimitta?
Perception on space. Yeah, so that one is based on this Chula Shunyata Sutta, the smaller discourse on emptiness. If a person were to use the earth kasina, when they visualize the forest, it will lead one to this perception of space. So the perception of space is a type of concentration.
Oh.
Yeah, but officially there's also a kasina called space kasina, yes.
Oh, is
There
that
is.
a kind of imagination? You just imagine like forest, then you will go into forest.
Yeah, if a person to imagine a forest in a large area for some time with the right conditions, and they withdraw from the sensor. If let's say a person visualize forest and they start to imagine they are like the 主角, like they are the main actor or actress inside the forest dancing and climbing the trees, then no, you cannot enter concentration. You cannot be involved with any story making. You need to withdraw and just leave the forest be, like observe it like from a far distance, yeah. And you might enter this concentration.
Something like imagination, Bante.
Like enjoying a scenery or enjoying a painting.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bante.
Okay, no problem. Okay, anyone else? Yes, Colin.
Sorry, Bante, because I missed the first 7 minutes of your talk, right?
Okay.
So I just want to clarify the nimitta. So nimitta is not visualization. It's not images that you create yourself, but it is something that, like, for example, if my eye touched something, like maybe I see a cup, then it's a white cup. Is that the nimitta? Something.
Yeah, based on this sutta, yes. On this context, yes.
Okay, so in this sutta is that means it's a sense object.
Impression, yeah.
Okay, a sense impression, and it's separate from like from the images that some people may see accidentally in a meditation. Like, you can meditate and suddenly you see an image.
And then it will be the mind door nimitta, mind door impression, yeah.
And that is different. You haven't covered it yet, right?
Yeah, this which we just covered in the last paragraph.
Oh, okay. So that's also during the meditation, and that one is created.
Yeah, it can be quite part of mental formation. It can happen even when you're sitting down here talking to people and a random thought formation just appear.
Okay. So then, and that's separate from like the kasina, is separate from the visualization.
Yeah, different.
Okay, thank you. That
Okay.
clarifies it for me.
Yep, no problem. Okay, any other questions? Yep, happy?
Yeah, I'd like to ask, so what is the right effort to make the nimitta into balance? Like when we see the light, what is the right effort on that?
Okay, if a person see a light, okay. So in our routine, we normally don't encourage people to chase or pursue the light. So for those who want to pursue and chase the light, actually the main objective for that is to develop a concentration, to develop higher knowledge or abhinyas. So this is like for people who want to see past life, or they want to see ghosts or see angels, then that's the path. If a person wants to visualize or they want to see the light, so that's one of the main reasons of this visualization practice. So if a person wants to enter jhanic concentration, they don't have to focus on the clarity. They don't have to focus on the clarity. They have to focus on withdrawal. Withdrawal.
Focus on the clarity. What's the meaning of that, Ajahn?
That means the high definition. What's the color? What's the how clear? All those. So I give an example in the Chula Shunyata Sutta. The Buddha used the forest as the image. If a person were to visualize the forest as the earth nimitta, as the earth kasina, they don't have to visualize the detail like the cracks on the ground, the potholes on the ground. They don't have to be in high detail. So that is the way to enter concentration, or enter this jhanic concentration. So if a person were to emphasize on the clarity of the vision, then that won't be jhanic concentration, it will be something else.
That means, do we need to just keep focusing on the breath rather than see the light?
Yeah, so if your main meditation object is the breath, then you focus on the breath.
Oh, okay. Okay, Ajahn.
Okay, no problem. Okay, any other questions? Yep, Colleen.
So actually, Bhante, So actually, Bhante, seeing nimitta is a form of restlessness, right?
Seeing nimitta is a form.
Because if you're meditating, right, then you are seeing these things. I mean, that means you already deviate from your meditation object already. You are being restless.
Yeah, so it depends on your initial intention or initial aspiration. If a person's aspiration is to develop those higher knowledge, then probably yes, they might need to visualize something. But if let's say our objective is to maybe to watch the breath or to do the loving kindness meditation, then we have to kind of ignore the images.
Okay, Bhante, can you extrapolate on what you mean by must visualize too for the higher knowledge?
Okay, so I think I might have covered this in a previous lesson, much previous lesson, because there are different types of samadhis. So like the jhanic samadhi requires withdrawing from the senses. Another type of samadhi is to have this higher knowledge and vision. So this one require visualization. Yeah, so it's different from jhanas actually. Then the third type of samadhi is vipassana. So if a person is mindful of impermanence, that itself is another type of samadhi. And the fourth type of samadhi is if a person is liberated. Yeah, if let's say they think of impermanence, the mind is free, then that's the fourth type of samadhi.
Sorry, so because I didn't attend your previous...
Okay.
So can you give an example of what you mean by the higher knowledge, the visualization for the higher knowledge?
Okay, so you can actually find this in this, what's the name of this? Iddhipada Vibhanga Sutta. Iddhipada. So Iddhipada means basis of psychic power. And Vibhanga is in the analysis. So it mentions all the visualization practices you need to do to kind of achieve it. So in things like impurities of the body, meditation, visualization, all the different lights and all those stuff. Yeah. So this one again, we don't really do this in our class. If a person were to do it for a long time, so even like Asubha meditation, if a person were to visualize a certain part of the body for a very long time, like skeleton for a long time, they may not be doing it for detachment. They may be doing it for this higher knowledge. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Okay, anyone else? Any questions?
So Bande, so
Yeah.
just to check with you. So Bande mentioned that only visualization can lead to psychic power, is it?
At least in the Buddha's time, yeah.
But the Buddha uses anapanasati. He managed to get the 3 types of knowledge, able to see past life, able to
Yeah, correct.
divine
Yeah.
eye. So in other words, anapanasati also can lead to higher knowledge.
No, the Buddha multitask. So even when doing the breath, he also managed to, I would say he has some divine eye potential. He's able to see the brightness of the mind. So he kind of also did this kind of focusing on the brightness also.
So he used the anapanasati to calm his mind down. So when his mind calmed down, then the light emerges. And then so after that, he switched to the kasina, used the
He
light.
multitasked. Yeah, he kind of did varied all the samadhis. Yeah.
I see. Oh, okay. I understand. Okay.
Bante,
Yeah.
like during our meditation, if we see light, can we just follow the light?
Okay, depends on your goal. So in our routine, we don't follow the light lah. Yeah. So if a person they are inclined or they really want to see their past life or have this higher knowledge, then it's good to have a teacher to guide them. I know of people who do it, and monastics they see things, then they go crazy, then they disrobe.
Meaning is if we see this kind of thing, we don't look at the 4 elements anymore. So we just following the nimittas.
Yeah, if they follow the light, then it'll be a different type of samadhi. Yeah.
Oh, very be very dangerous.
Dangerous if there's no right view, or if a person doesn't have enough wisdom, doesn't have enough merit. If a person, for example, doesn't have enough merit or doesn't have enough good karma, they visualize, then they start to maybe have some divine eye, and because of their bad karma, the thing they see is only evil spirits and demons. So whole day horror movie. Yeah.
Oh, so it's not encouraged.
And it's not suited for everybody. Not say not encouraged. It may be suitable for some people. Maybe in the Buddha's time there's no handphone and no television, so that might be the thing they look forward to. But now with maybe more easily accessible information, this kind of thing may be hindrance for more people than an advantage.
Okay, thank you, Bante.
Okay, no problem. Okay, anyone else? Any? Yep.
I think I attended a meditation retreat, right, where apparently a lot of people achieved this nimitta until I think the instructor was quite frustrated. So he was saying about the light, right? He said that if the light is, you do not go outside of yourself to follow this light. And then after that he mentioned something about actually you have to bring the light into your body. But I thought that was quite mysterious, so I dare not practice what he said. Yeah. So do you have any idea about that?
No, I don't have. So they might have their reason, yeah? Yeah. Okay, happy as you raised your hand also.
Ajahn, I'd like to ask something. Like last time when I go to the, the like kind of TCM herbalist, I think the doctor go into deep meditation when he diagnosed people on hands, and the eyes turn rolling like kind of like in the deep jhana. Is it they doing some kind of like in the jhanic state?
I won't call it jhanas. Probably maybe their focus and concentration on visualizing the different parts of the body, they might lead to certain intuition.
So it's kind of like Idipada, they use that to
maybe, yeah. If they are if their diagnosis is accurate, yeah.
Okay. Okay, Ajahn, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, anyone else? Any questions? Okay, if there's no issues, we go for a 5-minute break. Then we come back for the guided meditation. Okay, so see you in 5 minutes time. Okay, and the first theme of meditation we're doing is these impurities of the body meditation, also some visualization. So visualization with the mind, not using our eyes, so it's part of the mind sense door. So whatever image we conjure up, if we do not have right thoughts, then it will naturally be wrong thoughts. So right thoughts will be anything that reduces greed and anger. Wrong thoughts will be anything that increases greed and anger. So we start off with visualizing the hairs from head to toe. So if you were just to visualize the hairs by itself, can be very subjective to your perception, your likings. So if let's say the hair is very beautiful looking, then an unmindful person will react with greed. And if, let's say the hair appears to be ugly or messy, then one might react with anger. So to guard the mind door, then we need to have the right reflection. So we start off with wishing the hairs well and happy. So whatever image we conjure the hairs, we wish it well and happy. And once we finish the sentence, then we quickly move on to a new patch of hair and wish it well and happy. So the repetition is part of right effort. You stop thinking of right thoughts only, and then naturally the wrong thoughts will come ready. So if you reduce craving, you also reduce stress or this tension. And the more you wish the hairs well and happy, then this mind should be able to calm down. And then you see how far can this mind actually calm down. Okay, and if the mind has quite settled down, you find that the rate of settling is negligible, or if there's a maximum limit cannot settle any further, then we call this your neutral baseline state. And that would be the minimum criteria for insight. So now there's no jhanic concentration yet. Then we switch to the insight portion. we're going to think of impermanence of the hairs. So all the hairs go through birth, aging, sickness, death. So you keep on thinking of the hairs growing and falling, many cycles. And as we keep looping, we also synchronize with the phrasing, birth, aging, sickness, death. Or you can use the phrase rising and passing. And then the more you think of impermanence, and then this stress should get lesser and lesser, or get lighter and lighter and disappear. And you get to understand the process of detachment. So once you think of impermanence, rising and passing, that's part of right thought. Once you stop only, then you're not guarding your senses. And naturally the mind will cling on to something else. And when there's clinging, then there's tension and stress. And between the shuttling of back and forth of clinging and detachment, you can also observe this sense of ego or sense of self. Is it increasing or diminishing? Okay, then we can ask ourselves, are these hairs truly self? Can we tell the hairs not to go through birth and death? Next, we can think of the nails, fingernails and toenails, and we wish them well and happy. And all these nails go through birth, aging, sickness and death. So you think of the nails growing and falling, many cycles. And as we keep looping this image, we also can mentally recite birth, aging, sickness, death, or rising and passing. So that's part of the right reflection to guard the senses from getting greedy or angry. And we can ask ourselves, are these nails truly self? Can we tell the nails not to go through birth and death? So after the impermanence phase, then we move on to the next part of the body, which is the teeth. We're going to visualize the teeth and wish them well and happy. You observe the difference between from detachment back to attachment, from vipassana to samatha. So samatha will always have a certain level of attachment, certain level of clinging. And we're going to wish the teeth well and happy. And all these teeth are subject to birth, aging, sickness, and death. So you think of the teeth growing and falling many cycles. And as we keep looping this image, we also mentally recite birth, aging, sickness, death, or rising and passing. And then we can ask ourselves, are these teeth truly self? Can we tell the teeth not to go through birth and death? And the next part of the body, you can think of the skin. We wish the skin well and happy. And all the skin are subject to birth, aging, sickness, and death. So you think of them growing and falling many cycles. And as we keep looping this image, we also mentally recite birth, aging, sickness, death, or rising and passing. Okay, then we can ask ourselves, are this skin truly self? Can we tell the skin not to go through birth and death? So the next phase we are going to do is just feeling of the 4 element sensations, the earth, fire, wind, water elements. So this one is now the body sense impression. So whatever sensation appear in your nervous system, we let it appear naturally by themselves. We don't purposely conjure or control it. So whatever sensation appear, we just wish them well and happy. So the earth element represents any hard or soft sensations, fire element represents hot and cold sensations, wind element represents any kind of movement, and water element represents any moist or dry sensations. So this would be the body sense impression nimitta. And the same thing, if you just feel the sensation, just aware only, and there's a tendency if the sensations are very short, then you might react with greed. If the sensations are painful or unpleasant, then you might react with anger. So you constantly need to generate right thought, wish it well and happy. And if the mind is quite settled down, then this would be the neutral state. No samadhi yet. And now we're going to cultivate using this so-called sense impression nimitta. We're going to cultivate boundless loving kindness. So we're going to wish, may all beings in all directions, above, below, and all across, may all beings be well and happy. And in that enlarged area of attention, we are going to perceive all beings as the 4 elements. No need to visualize how they look like. Use the 4 elements as the representation. So whatever element appear, we are going to wish, may all beings be well and happy. So that's the right thought to guide the senses. Don't get carried away by the different sensations. So whatever sensation appear, we're going to wish, may all beings be well and happy. And if the conditions are right, keep on wishing may all beings be well and happy. You have the right thought, right effort, you reduce the unwholesomeness, then usually the practice of loving kindness may lead one to experience the first level of concentration, indicated by the emotion of joy and happiness. Some increment of joy and happiness compared to the neutral emotion from earlier. And regardless of what you experience, keep on wishing may all beings be well and happy. Regardless of what activity, whether you're standing, sitting, walking, or lying down. And before we conclude the session, due to time constraint, this is the reminder. So you can do the sublime states, loving kindness, or you can think of impermanence in all your activities. And with that, we can gently open our eyes, formally end the session, and formally generate right thought. Okay, any questions or problems? Okay, if not, then we go on to the chanting. Okay, dedication or merits. Akasata Japumata Devanaga Mahitika Punyang Tang Anumoditva Chirang Rakantu Loka Sasanang Etavata Cha Amhehi Sampadang Punya Sampadang Sabbe Deva Sabbe Bhuta Sabbe Sata Anumodantu Sabba Sampati Siddhiya. Okay, dedication and merits to the departed. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Aspiration. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yavani bana patiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Then we bow 3 times to the Buddha. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Okay, so the next MSBS Zoom session on the 28th of July next month. And for those who are attending the Malaysia's retreat, see you all in Malaysia. And good night.
Good night. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, good night.
Bante.
Good night, Bhante. Thank you, Bhante.
Good night.